Welcome back, guys, to another ABL Sports video. With all 10 of the open head coach NFL vacancies filled, we can now finally make a video on it. And who better to make a video with than with Finn?
Hey guys, what's going on?
So Finn and I are basically going to grade all 10 head coach NFL vacancies. We don't have it in order from our favorite to least favorite or least favorite to favorite. We just kind of put it in order of like when they got hired. And on the slides, like our grades are going to be honest. We're going to take turns discussing it and just giving our opinions on it. So it should be a good video. So starting off, we have John Harbaugh, excuse me, going to the New York Giants. We both gave this grade an A. Finn, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, this is the best hire that the Giants could have possibly made. Obviously, his tenure in Baltimore didn't go as planned. Like they would have loved to have won a championship. But this is really exciting because he has a really good young core here. I'm really excited to see what he'll do with Jackson Dart specifically, and also Cam Scatterbo. It's going to be a really fun kind of like 1-2 combo for the Giants. And this is just a giant win more than anything else for this organization. Because obviously the last decade hasn't gone very well. I mean, kind of past the Odell, Eli Manning era, nothing has gone right for this team. Obviously, Saquon went to the Eagles, won a championship there. So this is just a really big win for an organization that really hasn't seen much success over the last decade.
Yeah, so John Harbaugh, and overall I'd say up tenure with the Ravens, a little bit of up and down in the past couple years. But he hasn't won a Super Bowl in about 12 years with the Ravens. And they had high expectations this year and they didn't fill them. And John
Yeah.
Harbaugh, he went on the market. He was instantly the most wanted coach like on the market. And I thought the Giants should have got either him or Stefanski, and the fact that they got him and they're putting a very good staff together is quite fantastic. So, we both give this an A, pretty easy thing, kind of pretty easy grade to start it off. So we're gonna go to the
Yeah.
next one. Kevin Stefanski to the Falcons. This is my favorite hire this cycle. I'll kind of start it off. I gave it an A plus. When I didn't even think the Falcons job was a top two job in this cycle, but they got a top two coach in this cycle. Kevin Stefanski, I mean, the Browns are just idiots. You fire Kevin Stefanski, who he got you to the playoffs, and prior to last year, he had a winning record. But the Browns, with the whole Deshaun Watson thing and Shedeur Sanders pick, it's just gone downhill. But if all of a sudden you look at the Falcons, NFC South might be the worst division in football next year. Got Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts all of a sudden is a good player now.
It's
Pretty
true.
good offensive line. The defense is good. Raheem Morris was a defensive coach, so he had that defense playing good. And I wouldn't be shocked if the Falcons make the playoffs this year. If he can get Michael Penix to play good, or even make a trade for a quarterback, I think this is a phenomenal hire. And I'm just gonna say it right now, my favorite hire of the cycle. What say you about this, Finn?
Okay, your argument's pretty convincing. So I'm actually going to bump my grade up to a B or a B plus because I didn't even think about Raheem Morris shaping this defense into be a really good team. I kind of thought he was the one holding the defense together. But if Kevin Stefanski, obviously, he's going to be great on offense. Like this is an insanely good upgrade for them. I think he'll be better than Raheem Morris. But if you build on the pieces that Raheem Morris had with the defense. And then Kevin Stefanski also upgrades the offense. This is easily looking like the best team in the NFC South. And it also makes the NFC South more interesting because you still have the Buccaneers and you still have the Panthers.
Yeah.
So it'll be great to see kind of just what an offensive minded coach does for the Falcons. And honestly, the last time we had a really fun Falcons offense was when they went to the Super Bowl. So
Hey,
not
guess
to
who the
compare it to
OC was?
that.
Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, there you go. And I don't think they're going to go to the Super Bowl, obviously,
Yeah,
but
obviously
it'll still
not.
make this team really fun.
Yeah, and they're going to be a tough out this year. And I think in the next couple years, they're going to be a really good team. All right,
They will be.
going to the next hire. The next thing that happened was Robert Saleh went to the Tennessee Titans. I gave it a B. Finn gave it a C plus. We'll kind of let Finn start on this one. Like, how do you feel about this?
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, so I think this is obviously a really good hire. I've noticed so far that I'm being a bit rougher with grades, but I still think like a C plus for me is still really good. This is a really good hire. He did a great job with the Niners. That defense is great. Obviously suffered a lot of injuries this year, but generally very good. He inherited a bad situation with the Jets. Nothing much he could do there.
No one
It's
succeeds with
Jets.
this Jets. Look at Sam Darnold.
Yeah, exactly,
Like,
exactly. I would have loved to see him coach a better team get hired in this cycle on a better team just to kind of fully unlock his coaching abilities and put them on show. But this is still a good team. You still have Cam Ward. You still have an interesting young core. I'm just kind of like the thing that's making me not bump this up to a B is I'm thinking about how Cam Ward will be developed because this is a defensive-minded coach. Not saying he can't do it, but still, I would have liked to see an offensive-minded coach kind of go to the Titans, like maybe a Stefanski. But although I do like where he ended up, but yeah, this is still a really good hire for the Titans.
Yeah, Stefanski was the Titans' number one guy, I'm pretty sure. So my grade actually for this was originally a C plus. And then we got the news that Brian Daboll was becoming the offensive coordinator for the Titans under Robert Saleh. Even though Brian Daboll is only going to be there for a year because he's going to get a head coaching job next year, I think he's still a good head coach. I think he's kind of
Yeah.
similar to Kevin Stefanski in the fact he went to a losing team, kind of got screwed over. But I mean, excuse me, his staff has been phenomenal. We got Brian Daboll on the offense, Gus Bradley as defensive coordinator, and like I said, he got the short end of the stick with the Jets. But I like this, and like I said, this is another pretty easy division. I mean,
Yeah.
actually, I don't know how easy because I mean the Texans and Jags were both playoff teams, and the Colts were about to be a playoff team until Daniel Jones got injured. But I this is going to be an interesting team. I'm definitely going to watch the Titans next year. I probably watched two Titans games this year. Next year, I'm definitely going to watch them.
Yeah, they'll be an interesting team for sure.
Yeah. So next we got Jeff Halfley to the Dolphins. I gave it a B plus. Saint Finn gave it a C. And Finn isn't the only one who's doubting this. I didn't see anyone in the media who liked this. I thought Jeff Halfley was the most underrated coach in this cycle. And I love their acquisition, their GM. They got the guy from the Packers, like one of the kind of scouting guys. I mean, I think this could be a guy where we look at these hires in 5 years. We're like, what? That one was better than I thought. I think this is going to be the one. I don't think Mike McDaniel was a bad coach. I just thought Chris Greer was a terrible GM. And I mean, obviously you have the Tua. Tua's kind of the elephant in the room. I see you just cut him, tie your like kind of cut your losses. But I mean, he was known for drafting and developing players. He was the head, and he's had head coaching experience. He was the head coach at Boston College, which he was pretty good at, and he was the defensive coordinator for the 2019 Ohio State team, which was the number one defense in the country that year. So he's had it. He's had big leadership experience, and this Packers defense has been great under him. And I think this is just a great young prospect for to be a head coach. He's not the most well-known guy, but he has stability, and that's what he will provide for the Dolphins. And I really like this hire.
I think this hire is decent. It's a decent hire. It's obviously not the best, but here's the thing. Clearly, the offense isn't working, so you have to get something going on defense. Hire a defensive-minded coach. Hire a guy who, on the Packers, can prove that he can lead one of the best defenses in the NFL, or at least a top 10, top 15 defense. What it's really going to come down to is cutting Tua or figuring out what to do with Tua because I don't think this offense is broken. I really just think it's a quarterback issue. And I hate to say that because Tua seems like a great guy, but obviously not
It
cutting it
is a
at that
quarterback
front.
issue. You have A-Chain and Waddle. I mean,
It's
it's a decent offense, like of personnel.
yeah, it is solely a quarterback issue. So maybe this year you do something and you get a quarterback in this draft, or you trade for a quarterback. Really, anyone but Tua, I think will do, or anyone that's at least decent will do.
Yeah, what I would probably do, I mean, they're probably going to sign Malik Willis because he was with the Packers and Malik Willis like had a couple of good games with them. I would give Quinn Ewers a year to see what he's got. I mean, because going into his year, he was projected first rounder. He fell to the seventh round, and I don't think it's a Shadur thing where teams purposely like didn't pick him. I just think he just didn't have a good. He just did not have a good junior year at Texas. But I mean. Worst, like here's the thing, if Quinn Ewers, if he's good, you have your franchise quarterback. If he's bad, you're going to be picking high and you're going to draft a franchise quarterback. So I think the Dolphins, like I said, in a couple of years, this can be looked at as a very good hire. Excuse me.
I can see this as being kind of like a Jacksonville situation where they have a really good defense and a decent quarterback. But I mean Jacksonville from, 8 years ago when they were playing the Steelers in
Oh
the
yeah.
playoffs, like that sort of team. I guess the Saxonville era. So maybe you have like a decent quarterback. I don't know, like not someone like Blake Bortles, but maybe a little bit better than that. You still have a good offense, but
Hey,
your
no shit
defense
on
is
Blake
really
Bortles.
where it's at.
Blake
Hey,
Bortles
hey,
had the
no,
most
no, no. He was good.
unpalatable.
He was a decent quarterback, which is
Yeah.
I'm all I'm saying. Like if even if Tua was just playing decent, that's really
Yeah,
all
if he
you would
was
need.
playing Blake Bortles level, he'd probably still be there. All right.
You would be.
Next, we got Jesse Minter to the Baltimore Ravens. I gave it an A minus. Finn gave it a C. I'm gonna kind of let Finn start with this one.
Yeah, so I think this is a good hire. It's just interesting to me that here's how I would phrase it. You need to find a quarterback, or not a quarterback. You need to find a coach who's going to be able to build a system around Lamar. And I think that's a very hard thing to do. So, all things considered, I think the Ravens did a good job here, but that's really going to be the main thing with this team. And the defense for the Ravens has been fine over the last few years, but it was really good a few years ago. So, I do like this hire in the sense that it does give the Ravens the ability to bring their defense back to an elite level. But my main concern here is what are you going to do with Lamar?
Yeah, so funny. And next week we're doing as we do our recaps of like all NFL teams. I had a Ravens guy on. We talked about Lamar. I said Lamar has two more good years left, then you trade him. I would honestly trade Lamar after next year because next year's quarterback draft is very good. Um,
Yeah.
maybe draft an Arch Manning or a Julian Sane. But I like the Jesse Minter hire because from everything I've heard, him and Mike McDonald are two very similar coaches. And looking back on it, I think the Ravens would have, maybe rather fired John Harbaugh a year or two earlier so they can hire Mike McDonald because look at him with the Seahawks now. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna gamble on this guy being, a slightly lesser version of Mike McDonald, which would be a very good kind of deal for the Ravens. So Jesse Minter, good, very, very good hire in my opinion. Had a good opening press conference. I know you don't win games from the press conference, but I really like this. But it's like I was kind of thrown off because you fire Harbaugh, but you stay in the Harbaugh tree with Jesse Minter. They just stole it from John's brother Jam, and just runs a similar defense. I mean, and this feels like a very Ravens hire. And the Ravens are a stable, good organization. So they're kind of like the Eagles or the Patriots or the Chiefs. If they make a hire, it's probably going to be good.
That's true. I agree with that. I have faith in this hire, but yeah, this is one of the better coaches you can get. I mean, if you can't get Kevin Stefanski, I guess this is kind of who you want. Like, I would definitely want for the Ravens, I would want Jesse Minter over like Robert Saleh, for example.
Yeah. All right. Going to our next thing, the Steelers hiring Mike McCarthy. I gave it a D. You gave it a C minus. I don't think we're both either high. I'm gonna be honest. I think this is the Steelers holding on to nothing. They're holding on to a rope
Yeah.
that's gonna break in 3 seconds. I mean, this is their owner saying we're good with winning 9 or 10 games every year. Have
I mean,
one
that's
down
basically what they
year.
were fine with doing with Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, no, it's literally Mike Tomlin 2.0, and I think Mike Tomlin's a better coach than McCarthy. What I like, here's the
Yeah.
thing. The Steelers, their two best quarterbacks in their franchise history, Terry Bradshaw, number one pick, Ben Roethlisberger, number 11 pick. You can suck for a year. It's fine. Suck for a year. Draft a franchise quarterback. If they would have sucked this year, they could have gotten Mendoza maybe. Like, I just don't understand what they're holding on to. Get a young guy like Chris Shula or Jesse Minter, something like that. Like you're just holding on to nothing.
Yeah. The thing with Mike McCarthy obviously is, and I'm going to use the word potential very loosely here. He has the potential to take you far in the playoffs. Like, he isn't the greatest coach, but he's also not the worst coach.
Yeah.
However, I completely agree with your point. Just suck for a year. It's not a big deal. It really isn't. I feel like the thing with the Steelers is that they are one of those like quote unquote legacy teams. So for them to suck, like there's too much pride involved. Like you can't suck as a legacy team. But let's look at a team that did suck for a little bit, the Patriots, and then they got Drake May, and now they're in the Super Bowl. And granted, this year has been kind of an anomaly in terms of the teams that are in the Super Bowl and teams that are having playoff success. But if you could suck for a year and just suck it up, then you can get it. Like you said, you can get a good quarterback. You can even just get a better coach. And I think that's the thing. A lot of the young coaches probably didn't want to go to the Steelers because they do have this like traditional mindset of, oh, we always have to be good. And 9 wins is better than, like three and getting a good quarterback, which like you can agree with that, but that's not a winning, recipe.
Yeah, like would you rather go from the second or third pick to the 27th or 30th pick the next year or go from the 19th pick to the 19th pick? Like I
Yeah.
it's the same thing every year and it's just like I mean it's going to be another 5 years for Steelers fans saying we want to change and I mean, I don't even know
It's not
why
going to
you fire
happen.
Mike Tomlin when you do that. I know Mike Tomlin said he stepped down, but it was the Steelers initiating it. Um, going on to the next one, another NFC North team. It seemed like the Ravens were the only good NFC North team who made the only NFC North team who made a good hire. Todd Monken to the Cleveland Browns. I guess he wrote a good enough essay or something, but I give it an F. You give it a D minus. Okay, I want to make it very clear. Todd Monken is a fantastic offensive coordinator. and he was a fantastic offensive coordinator for the Ravens. However, if I were the Browns, I would have just promoted Jim Schwartz. The players liked him, or don't fire a top 10 coach in the NFL in the first place. Like, it's more of that they fired Kevin Stefanski, and it's like, it's just mind boggling. I don't have much to say. I just think the Browns are just a joke from the organization. Say you. What say you?
I was thinking the exact same thing. I don't even want to give the time of day to this decision. Besides my one thought, which is okay, obviously you're trying to replicate what happened in Baltimore with Lamar's success, and you're trying to replicate that with Shador. But Shador's not nearly as good, and I honestly don't get the Shador hype. I don't think he's that good. I don't think he's a good quarterback, and I don't think he has too much potential. So what are you doing here? It makes no sense to me, and I'm just gonna leave it at that because it's so dumb. It's just really dumb.
Yeah, we don't want the Browns to be mad at us, so let's just not talk about
Sorry,
them.
sorry, Browns fans, but this is such a
Yeah.
bad decision.
Yeah. Well, Cleveland, they got James Harden now, so I guess you traded Kevin
Yeah.
Stefanski. So
Oh my God. That's gonna be its own video.
yeah. Next one, Matt, hint for a future video. Next one, Buffalo Bills promoting Joe Brady from offensive coordinator to head coach. I gave it a B plus. Finn gave it an F. Uh, this was your lowest grade, so I'm really curious about this one.
I'm not gonna curse on here, but I effing hate this decision. I think this is so dumb. And you know what's actually funny is I just said I don't want to give the time of day to the Browns decision. This decision pisses me off more than that. Because why are you firing Sean McDermott, a great coach, to someone who doesn't even come close to his talent? Okay, the only good thing about maybe I'll give it a D minus or an F plus because the only good thing about this hire is that it comes within the organization. So it's someone with who's familiar with how the team is ran. But I hate this decision. I don't even care if Sean McDermott and his situation is stale. Just keep him. I hate this hire, Austin. I hate it.
So I actually like this hire.
Obviously, we have very different opinions on this,
Yeah.
but I cannot
One of
stand
us
this
is going to be
hire.
right. One of us is going to be wrong. So, like, this is going to age pretty good in a couple years. But here's my thinking on this. So, I don't mind if you fire Sean McDermott. I just don't like the way the Bills did it. When the owner came out and said, you know, I wasn't going to fire him, and then the Broncos game happened. And then a couple of minutes later, he said, we lost the Broncos game because of the refs. So he's saying the refs fired Sean McDermott. Here's the thing, the Ravens owner, Steve Bisciotti, was very clear, and they said, and because a reporter asked him, what would have happened if he fired John Harbaugh? Like, what would have happened to John Harbaugh if Tyler Loop makes this field goal against the Steelers? And he said, well, John Harbaugh just gets fired a week later. That's a good owner. That is competent. He knew what he was going to do. He's not making an emotional, irrational decision. Obviously, if John Harbaugh wins a couple playoff games, maybe he doesn't get fired. But with this, here's the thing. I think the Bills are looking at what happened with the Bucks, with the Ravens, uh, maybe even with the Lions, where the Bucks, Liam Cohen leaves for the Jaguars. Jaguars, great year. Bucks, not so good year. Ravens, Mike McDonald leaves for Seattle. Seattle in the Super Bowl. Ravens out of the playoffs and looking for a new coach. And Joe Brady was going to get a job this cycle. I heard he was the Cardinals' number one choice. He interviewed with the Titans as well, bunch of others. And I just think they didn't want their like boy genius to leave the building. So this is their guy. They think this is the future of the Buffalo Bills for the next 15 years. And I respect that gamble. I really, really do.
This is such a joke. I'm sorry. This is such a joke. You didn't even get a top three coach in this cycle, and you fired one of the best coaches in the NFL. This is a horrible decision. And I'm not even like Joe Brady. Okay, maybe he'll be like decent. Maybe he'll be decent. But like, what is the ceiling here? A Super Bowl is not the ceiling with this hire.
Well, I
You
have a
could have gotten
question.
Kevin Stefanski.
No,
You could
but
have
what?
gotten.
No, you go, and then I
Ask
want
your
to.
question. No,
No,
just ask your question. Just
okay,
ask your question.
okay. What happens if Joe Brady, let's say Joe Brady goes to the Raiders and gets Mendoza? Mendoza's a top 10 quarterback. The Raiders are in the playoffs next year, and you're the Bills with Sean McDermott. You get eliminated in the divisional round again, just holding your dick. What, what
What if
happens
a
then?
meteor falls from the sky right now and strikes us both as we record this? Like this, it's completely different situations. Like we could go if,
No,
but Sean,
it's not.
yes,
It's
yes.
not.
But
No,
Sean McDermott
they're taking a
was so
gamble.
good for this team.
No, it was Sean McDermott's time was up. Okay, I know they were a wild card team. Mahomes is out of it. Lamar's out of it. Burrow's out of it. All three of those guys you've lost to in the playoffs. This is your chance, and you don't win. Even 2 years ago against the Chiefs. They had the Chiefs at home in the playoffs. They got outplayed by the Chiefs. Last year in the playoffs, outplayed by the Chiefs. The year before, just got smoked by Joe Burrow. The year before that, I mean, the 13-second drive with the Chiefs, that's their defense's fault. Sean McDermott, defensive head coach. The year before that, you give up 38 points to the Chiefs in the playoffs, defense. And like the problem is, their offense has been fantastic in their playoffs, and the defense has been terrible.
Here's the thing, the NFL is changing, and the teams that were good 5 years ago aren't the same teams that are good now. The Patriots, or not the Patriots, the Chiefs, their time is up. I'm sorry. I know you're a fan, but I think their time is genuinely up. And if you have Sean McDermott, if you have a Sean McDermott led Bills yesterday or today versus the current Chiefs, I'm still taking the Bills. And I'm taking the Bills to go to the Super Bowl and probably win it if it's not for the referees and that horrible drive. Like, I'm sorry. I just don't understand. Like,
Do the
yes,
Bills beat
the
the
38 points is
Seahawks?
bad. Ooh, I'm not sure. Actually, I might have to walk that one back. But they're definitely going to the Super Bowl.
They don't beat the
No doubt
Patriots.
about it.
They don't beat the
Yes, they do.
Patriots.
They
The
actually wiped
Patriots
the floor
outplayed
with the
them in six
Patriots.
out of
That's what
the
would
eight halves
happen.
this year. The Bills outplayed them for
In
one
the
half this
dude,
year.
it's the regular season, and like the regular season's when you figure shit out. The Bills had shit figured out on offense. They dropped 30 points
Okay,
on offense or
offense. That's
27
my
points on
point.
offense.
Offensive coordinator Joe Brady. That's my point.
Dude, here's the thing. I think the Patriots still have a decent offense, and obviously the Broncos have a decent offense. But dude, just hire a different DC. Just hire a different DC and keep Sean McDermott. I'm gonna defend Sean McDermott. I'm sorry.
Next year, Sean McDermott's going to get a job, and he's going to get fired after like 4 years. All right.
Yeah, because no situation is as good as the Bills. Like if he gets hired and goes to, I don't know, like a team that's as good as like the Cardinals, of course he'll get fired. Like some organizations are just poor.
I think your take's going to age horribly. It's going to make a great clip, though. Uh,
He's not gonna dude, this coach is not winning you a Super Bowl. I'm sorry. Like
I mean,
if you're hiring
he was the Matt mind behind 2019 LSU. I mean, Joe Burrow likes him, Jamar Chase, Justin.
college football, he won in college football. Congrats. This is the
Yeah,
NFL.
Jimmy Johnson won in college football, won a Super Bowl for the Cowboys. All right,
It's just a rare thing
going.
to be good in that. Yeah, let's just move on.
Speaking of the
I'm just not gonna
Cardinals,
agree.
Mike LaFleur, brother of Matt LaFleur, the Rams offensive coordinator, goes to the Cardinals. Um, I spoke a lot on this past on the Bill segment, so I'm not gonna let you speak on this one. What are your thoughts on this? I think my grade's a bit higher than yours.
Yeah, it is. I see a lot of people on social media and kind of just in NFL talk saying that, oh, you hired the wrong coordinator from the Rams.
That's what
I
I've
just don't
seen
think
too.
this. I I kind of agree with that, but not really. Like I think you couldn't go wrong either way. I still think he's a good offensive coordinator. And obviously people are going to say, "Oh, well, he's only good because of or he's mainly good because of all the talent on the Rams." Like Kyron Williams and Stafford and Puka and Cooper and like all these people, which yeah, that's partially true. Like you can't have a good offense without, good players. But he still had some really good schemes, and I think the Cardinals over the last few years are just kind of one of those teams that are like when they're good, they're fun to watch on offense. Like there's kind of Kyler and Hopkins years. And obviously we're, way past that now. But if you kind of just build a fun offensive core, then why not replicate what you did with the Rams? Obviously not as well because that's a great offensive situation. But, replicate it to like some extent of that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so I don't believe they hired the wrong coordinator. I just listen. I'd be much higher on Mike LaFleur if he was going to another team. I mean, every offensive coach from the McVay Shanahan tree does well, but I mean the Cardinals. I mean they're last place every year in that division. The Seahawks are probably going to win the Super Bowl this year. Um, the Rams, they're in it every year. The 49ers, they're in the playoffs every year. Like it's just the Cardinals. I mean, whoever is going to the Cardinals is screwed, and the Cardinals got probably one of the top three worst owners in the league. It's more the Cardinals are bad than this guy is bad, and I really feel bad.
Yeah, it's true. But the Cardinals, if they play the cards right, then they can become good. And then this
I mean, they got
hiring
some
makes more
pieces.
sense.
They got Marvin
They do.
Harrison,
Yeah.
Michael Wilson, Paris Johnson. Like they got some. All right.
Yeah, I agree.
Going to the last hire of this cycle. It's not official yet, but the Seahawks GM announced it like on an interview. Clint Kubiak, Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator, takes the Raiders job. Once again, a difference of opinion on this. I have an A minus, you have a B minus. Just thoughts on this.
Well, the only reason it's not higher is because it's not my favorite. hiring from this, I guess, cycle. Like it's up
Okay,
there. It's definitely
that's
up there.
respectable.
But I'm reserving an A for the best hire. So obviously Harbaugh's the best hire. But this is still a really, really good hire. And honestly, I'll bump my grade up to a B because first of all, good on you for taking this job. Good on you for agreeing to be associated with the Raiders organization at all. That is brave. That's really brave. But here's the thing. Obviously, you have the number one pick, or you'll get the number one pick. So you're going to get Fernando Mendoza. That's awesome. And then seeing what you did with Sam Darnold this year and the entire offense, I can't even believe these words are coming out of my mouth. I'm really excited to see what he does with the Raiders offense and
Dude,
what
me
he can
too.
build with this team.
It's crazy.
It's a fun hire. It's a really fun
No,
hire.
no, it's like it's really weird. Like I'm excited to watch the Raiders because all of a sudden you like everyone's like, oh, the Raiders are a bad job, but they get an offensive mind like Clint Kubiak, who Shanahan loved. Like Kyle Shanahan loved him, which kind of says enough about him. And he runs the McVay Shanahan offense.
Yeah,
So and that offense is just, I mean, that's unstoppable, it feels like.
it is.
But all of
Yeah.
a sudden you're like got decent O-line, Miller on the left tackle, Jackson Powers Johnson at center. Ashton Genty in the run game. He on an up and down rookie year, but he'll be fine. Brock Bowers,
It'll
the
be
best
okay.
in the NFL. And all of a sudden, you look at the defense, maybe trade Max Crosby just because, they're not going to win anytime soon. And you can get a haul for him too. But,
Yeah, that's
I
true.
mean, I really like this hire. I really do. And I think Clint Kubiak, he was kind of the trendy candidate the past couple weeks because of how good the Seahawks have been. But I really like this hire.
Yeah, let's be real. The Seahawks are probably going to win the Super Bowl, and when they do, everybody in media is going to be saying, "Oh, this is an amazing hire, best hire of the cycle." Like it's gonna be really interesting. And one of the most fun parts of just the coaching cycles in general is all the hype that surrounds the team. It's obviously like the same thing with the draft where you don't really know what's going to happen, but you're really excited, and it could go up in flames. Like it is the Raiders organization, so who knows what'll happen. But still, this is one of the most exciting hires of the offseason. I think this is like just as exciting as the Harbaugh hire. But I don't think it's as good of a hire, but still really exciting.
Yeah, then breaking news. I just got this alert. Jeff Stoutland moving on from the Eagles.
I
Offensive
saw that this
tackle.
morning. I don't even want to
Yeah.
talk about it. Just depressing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, he's the best offensive line coach probably of all time. So I mean it's
He
just
is, yeah. It's
yeah.
just another blow for the Eagles, honestly. Just there's like that's like the third thing that's happened in Philadelphia sports this morning that's just depressing. Jaron McCain got traded, and now this, like, so I guess the second, but just a rough morning. Just a rough morning.
All right. Well, thank you, Finn, for joining us.
Thanks for
Uh
having me.
yeah, I don't know if Joe Brady's gonna be listening anytime soon, but thank you for joining us. This was a great video. Great to kind of discuss. I mean, kind of record, 10 head coaching openings. I don't think that's ever happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a crazy off season so far. It's only going to get crazier. So thank you for coming on, and we're gonna have an NBA video out soon.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and also tune in next week. Finn and I are doing an Eagle season recap, so tune in. Be sure to tune in for that as well. So we'll see you guys next time.